Mobility is an important part of Super Doomspire. Mobility is important because it allows the player to move, and moving swiftly and fast is important because it is a key part of Super Doomspire to avoid your enemies. It can also allow you to avoid your enemies through being fast, and being fast is definitely important. As you may know, this is our weapon series, and definitely this will help you be mobile. We go through different weapons and pick the best choice on what to choose. This part is mobile, which is mobility. Let's go over it first off. In essence, mobility refers to how well you can move and how freely and efficiently. The weapons we pick will be efficient, freely controllable, and generally good weapons for getting around. What do you think of when you think of mobility? Do you think certain typical weapons that just have a good edge to them? Not always. Certain weapons have certain features that can definitely help when getting around, such as lunge and much more. In today's video, we'll be going over mobility weapon lists and the best loadout. Obviously, this is opinionated, but this is my experience with Super Doomspire personally that I found after a year consistently playing. Anyway, so you want to be mobile, right? Well, you came to the right video. Let's get started. My name is TanookiAlex, and this is our Super Doomspire series, episode 18, where we go over the best weapons for Super Doomspire in certain situations. Yo, what's up, #Nerd Squad, and welcome back to another video. Before we get started in this video, make sure to subscribe for Loadout news, tips and tricks, and more. Thank you all so much for 6K. We did it. Yahoo! On to 7K. I don't have much to say on that in terms, except I'm really happy. Before I start this video, I want to make one thing very clear. There is no best weapon. You can change it this loadout if it doesn't work for you, which is completely okay. Not everything works for different people. Think of a loadout as clothes. It may fit, it may not. It may stylize, it may not. Anyways, we'll be doing the typical weapon loadout. Rocket launcher, sword, bomb, and trowel. Which essentially works as a tool, so it works differently than a weapon. Let's get started with our rocket launcher. Firstly. So, our launcher is a rocket, essentially, you know the drill. Anyways, for this one, I avoided Hosshog, because Hosshog's latest nerf includes self-damage. Only used if you are extreme pro can you use that one, because honestly, the Hosshog was a great one. Before that, I would have picked before this, but you can switch this one out with Hosshog because of Hosshog's self-damage. That's the main reason I avoided it. Other than that, the Hosshog is best for mobility, but if you're not careful, you can essentially hurt yourself, which isn't good. The Hosshog will make the user take 15 damage every time they're in its blast radius, accidental or not. This can make the Hosshog's rocket jump really risky, as you may be too hurt to the point of being able to kill quickly or even die from your own rockets. So if you want to switch this one out, please be careful. Only take this one if you are a really good player. So you need to be very particular, to say the least, with your weapons. And jumps. The arm cannon is unique, as it has the ability to fire 3 different levels of rockets, with each level varying in damage and speed. Rockets can be fully charged up while holding the left mouse button, and will be fully charged after 4 seconds, in which it cannot be charged anymore. After firing any shot, it will recharge extremely quickly afterwards. With a simple tap or charge lightly, it will fire a small pellet. These pellets will not explode and deal 45 damage to targets, but are the fastest out of all the projectiles. When halfway charged and released, it will fire a medium-sized orb. This has the ability to KO an enemy outright, along with producing a below-average explosion, but will travel slightly slower than small pellets, and you cannot rocket jump with the explosion. However, when it is fully charged, it will fire a large orb. This orb has more power than the medium-sized orb, along with a high explosion power and the ability to rocket jump with it. This orb will travel the slowest out of the 3 projectiles. The arm cannon is excellent for combos because it's uncharged 45 damage, making it an amazing combo maker with the shuriken and the greatsword. If you want a quick combo, make sure to charge it before attacking an enemy. The reason why I chose both arm cannon and Hosshog is because they're both known for their rocket jumping capabilities. Although preferably I choose Hosshog. I'd see why players can choose arm cannon. Arm cannon is a good rocket because of its ability to be controlled, essentially controlling where you go and how far you go. Plus, unlike the Hosshog, there is less risk. Some people think it's better to be a safe player than a non-safe player, because then you can focus on the game in a more loose manner and you don't have to pick your moves particularly. When you know how to choose your moves more particularly, then you know how to choose Hosshog. It's better to choose moves particularly in my opinion, but this takes months to practice, like literal months. This is not an easy move to do. Okay, so let's summarize that. Essentially, big noob, choose arm cannon. It's okay to not be good or want to play a safer moveset. There is no problem with this. We all have different skill sets, and this is alright. Put on your big girl boy pants and play with a higher jump, but with a higher risk. Choose Hosshog. Alright, let's move on to the next weapon. Air attacks will make you gain height assisting movement in the air, like bomb jumping or just travel in general. Note that there is a limit to how many air attacks you can do, lowering the higher height until the subsequent air attack, until being unable to gain more height. Vox Caliver does 5+ more damage with a sword jump. Clicking left mouse 2 times in quick succession with the sword, Dark Heart, Shadow Blade, or Vox will perform a powerful strike move which does extra damage. The Vox Caliver is similar to a standard sword but has a 30% jump boost when held, which increases the player's base jump height from 8 studs to 10.4 studs. This makes it a great tool for traversing upwards and going up the side of towers. It does 5+ more damage in a midair swing, which is just enough to damage one-shot infected players. The Vox is a great tool for going upwards and being a general mobile weapon for travel, especially when going with towers. Although it can be less ideal in combat, it generally has good statistics for a weapon. Its higher midair swing can come into a big play into this. The higher midair swing can KO enemies, as mentioned previously, because it can knock out enemies, especially when playing with regular combat. Regular combat involves a lot of jumps, and so this can come in real handy when playing with other players. I chose this weapon because it has a lot of versatility in terms of when it comes to ability. Swords are tools primarily used for close combat and mobility, and I think this sword encompasses that ability to have mobility. It's clear it has the abilities for mobility with its powerful strike move and midair attacks, which these midair attacks can be the ability that saves your game. Pretty cool, huh? I think it's a pretty cool weapon, especially for upwards mobility. If you want sideways mobility, you're going to want to choose the Shadow Blade. Bombs are a tool in game used for bomb jumping and destroying towers up close. Though they can kill players, it's hard to blow off as they need to be close to the bomb. Some bombs roll out, some mostly stay put, and some stick to buildings. It is possible to use the roll of other bombs to your advantage, such as rolling a bomb at others to inflict damage to them. Home running default bomb, square bomb, and skins will launch them to the direction you are facing to while doing so. This does not trigger the batter up buff. Now let's go over the remote denominator. The remote denominator is a special bomb that can be thrown like balls. However, the bomb won't be thrown nearly as far and it won't bounce as balls. Each bomb will immediately set up when the player presses the R button, right click, and shift lock. There will be a certain amount of time needed for the last bomb thrown to activate, though fully charging the bomb when thrown will drastically decrease activation time to 0.6 seconds. Multiple bombs can be thrown and will detonate simultaneously if wrong. This can put a use when creating a trap, which can be best used in infection mode. Note that these bombs will only stay for a couple of minutes before despawning. The remote denominator is also really well known for its bomb detonating capabilities. If many bombs are close to each other, the power of the bombs can be stacked. This will allow for a much more powerful explosion and much greater bomb jump, allowing for greater mobility and fleeing tactics. Bomb jumping is also notably easier because then the player can charge and throw a bomb right in front of them, then denominate when it's ready to launch. This can allow for much faster bomb jumps and may come in handy during escapes. The remote denominator is also extremely useful in infection mode. Although the bombs can be used as a track, it can also be used as a getaway method. You can use this to your advantage when getting somewhere quickly or simply escaping. You can also stack power and launch yourself into the air, which can give you 10 to 15 seconds of air stalling time. This can even be used to perform mid-air bomb jumps with the help of a rocket jump and a sword. However, this does take some practice and can be difficult. Since the Halloween update now takes 0.1 seconds to dominate and has no knockback due to players sometimes getting blasted to the barrier. Some pros can even throw in mid-air and jump on it, then making it explode, resulting in a bomb jump in the air. However, this trick is near impossible, and if you aren't skilled at the game, it is not advisable to try. I always choose remote because it's possible that it's the best bomb in game, it comes very handy during escapes, and much more. Balls are range tools mainly used to deal with some damage and stagger enemies. Balls can also be used for breaking glass, breaking spire doors, and breaking player-made buildings. The Paintball Gun is a unique ball. Instead of throwing one, it will fire small, low projecting damage in rapid succession. The paintballs deal 14 damage but cannot be reflected using the show. The paintballs will not deal knockback, stagger enemies, or break windows. The paintball gun can shoot very far, which makes it a good weapon to kill players who are trying to escape or to players' health, especially infection when you are infected. Many players will find paintball gun irritating, as the bullets travel very fast. They can still prevent the projectiles. The paintball gun is good for mobility because of how fast it is. Lastly, our trowel. The Trampoline Travel is a trowel in Super Doomspire, which when placed will generate a trampoline that will take you to very high heights. This can be very effective in the lobby when trying to get to the top of the lobby building to get the 100-round chest. This can also be effective in every game mode because it can be an alternative to bomb jumps, allowing you to get to your target quickly. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed.